But anyway, they get to my point. Now I'm a Texas fan, so I'm sure I'm looking at this through the orange-colored glasses. But there's one buyout that everybody's forgetting to talk about that might even everything out, and that's the one thing the SEC probably told Texas they can't have, and that's LHN. So LHN is probably going to, be absorbed by the SEC network, and but still, that's if I'm ESPN, I'd probably go to Longhorns and say, yeah, we're going to take away Longhorn Network, but here's $170 million to for that buyout, and they could just send it right over to the Big 12. But also, if I'm Texas and OU, like I said, I'm a Longhorn fan, so I might be looking at this differently than everybody else would. But I'm not paying that whole. I'm taking this court because I'm not paying that whole $80 million per team. Because if I want to go in 2020, that might I'll pay that $30 million or a third or whatever for that year. But then I'm going to tell them, hey, I'll pay you a third every year. Because I don't want to pay that $80 million and then in the Big 12 just hang around for 2022, and then in 2023 they dissolve, and then these schools are getting that other 2/3 of that money for free, for nothing.
Well,
so
first of all,
I don't know the legal of it, but
all right, okay, thank you. You got a lot of dates wrong, and you got a little bit of the information wrong, but it's great to have you. And we've been here since April of 2020, so sorry you've missed us for the last 16 or 18 months, but we're here every day. ESPN owns the Longhorn Network like $80 million. Texas is not going to give that up. And if it melts into something else, if it even does, even if I hear that there's not going to be a Longhorn Network, I'll believe that when I actually see it. All right, another two. If the Big 12 dissolves, if Texas and Oklahoma have done what they've done and they've now put it in writing, and they eventually, whatever year they leave, they pay the full year. They pay the full amount, the length of the deal, and then if the conference then voids itself out 3 out of the 3 years into the 4, I don't know. I don't know why you get your money back.
No, look,
right now, and a lot of things we're forgetting about as well. And Paul shared a thing with you and Craig. There are penalties on top of the grant of rights type figures that people sometimes forget to mention.
Yeah, the penalties is what they should hope to have to get waived. The grant of rights, it should be the very minimum thing that they have to pay. And I think that both schools should have operated in this believing that they should have to pay the whole thing, or hoping that if they, if it went the other way and they had to pay it all, they should know that that's a distinct possibility. The thing is that when you say, I don't know what Texas would be paying for on the way out, that's precisely what the Big 12 is saying that ESPN is doing. That's what they're accusing them of, is trying to interfere and break up the conference so that they don't have to pay out the money that they owe. That's the benefit to ESPN for the Big 12 going away, is that they don't have to pay out the rest of the TV contract, and they can roll that money into the new SEC deal that includes Oklahoma and Texas. That's what they would want, because it's $1 billion over 4 years. So that's not like something you just go, like, I don't care how big of a company you are. If you owe somebody $1 billion, that's not something you just get back. I mean, you can't just go to Chrysler and say, like, hey, we appreciated your $250 million ad buy last year. How would you like to quadruple that so we can break even on something? So that's not what's going to happen. So I would say that, they have to pay the full thing. And Texas is going to get made whole. Like, they're going to get made whole in this no matter what happens. So Texas and Oklahoma should not worry one little bit about the money they should have to pay, and they shouldn't worry about it at all because they went and did this knowing it was a possibility. They will be made whole. So Longhorn fans and Sooner fans concerned about what about the money we're going to have to pay, my God, you swallow dimes and crap quarters, don't worry about it.
Devontae from Chicago, good stuff, Paul. Here go Wildcats. What if other Power 5 stick it to the SEC by saying they want to keep the 4-team playoff and just let the SEC beat the crap out of each other because they need these other conferences to improve playoff expansion, so why don't they block the playoff extension? Well, that's kind of too late for that, too. I mean, it's kind of like you let a bunch of cattle inside the fence and now you can't get them out. That's just a matter of time. And Sankey's on the committee, as is Bowlesby. And that's so weird.
He just sat across from
him.
All these
like,
Zoom meetings that they have.
Like Russia, China, and the United States all in the same room and acting like they all love each other.
How many times like Greg Sankey,
who's China, who's Russia, who's the United States?
Muted his microphone and turned off his camera because he had to go talk to Texas and OU.
Cecil Hurt will join us in the next segment when we take more of your calls. He covers Alabama.
By the way, happy to have guys like Jeffrey back. By the way, Jeffrey Q is in Vegas now, living his dream. And Matt in D.C., you're on SicEm.